Yeah, so forward that WhatsApp, not WhatsApp, that YouTube link to.
Sure. I'm doing that now.
So forward the link to your contacts. So Coach Babs, more grace to you. Hi everyone. Good evening. Good evening to you. This is your coach and therapist, Ruth Waithera. I can see we have people with us here already. As you sign in, as you come in, I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of us. We have really been looking forward to this healing challenge, Rapid Healing Challenge 2.0. For those of us who have been with us for a while, we did Rapid Healing Challenge 1.0 last year in October. So thank you for hanging around. For those who are new, karibuni sana. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you, those who are meeting me for the first time. My name is Coach Ruth Waithera of the Soul Clinic. And the Soul Clinic is where we fix your pain. We help you feel good and live holy. So karibuni sana. I can see we already have a number of people with us. So as you're joining, please say hi, say hello to us. You can tell us where you're watching us from. Yes, Chep Coach, and it's always a pleasure to see you. Always a pleasure. So karibu sana, Lucy. She's saying thank you. Welcome very much, Lucy. You can tell us where you're watching us from so that we know how far we are reaching and we know who we are reaching. A Facebook user had said hello to us. So let's keep saying hi, even as we come in. Yes, yes. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Nancy. Nancy is watching us from Muranga. We have Millie. We have Esther. Hi, everyone. Chepkoech Ann is watching us from Kericho. T. Koala watching from Kajiado. It's always, always a pleasure to have you here. Muikari Mary watching us from Kariobangi South. Millie is in Uthiru. So karibuni, karibuni. Please invite your friends. Remind them of this meeting this evening. We don't want to leave anyone behind. Emily is watching us from Busia. Wanjiro has said, yes, Wanjiro Njoroge. Always a pleasure to see you. Hi, lovely watching from Nairobi. Vivian. Vivian says hello. She's from Nairobi. Terry. Wow, wow, wow. Welcome, welcome, everyone, everyone. Please remind your friends, your relatives, your aunties, your sisters, whoever it is that wanted to be with us tonight. Please remind them of this meeting. Let them show up so that they are not missing out on anything. Our guest is already with us here, and we don't want her starting, before everybody is on board. We don't want anybody missing out. So let's keep coming in. And as you come in, please say hello to us. Tell us where you're watching us from. You can also set your expectations there. We are encouraging you to keep the comments coming. You can tell us what you're expecting tonight. If you have a question, you can keep posting it there. Remember, tonight we are looking at healing your inner child, and we have Coach Paps here with us to take us through that. So if you have a question or a comment, something you'd want her to address, please keep those coming, keep those flowing. Otherwise, I take this opportunity once again to welcome you to our session tonight. So our guest, like I have said, she's in the house, Coach Paps, and she's taking us through healing your inner child. And I want to invite her here so that you can see her even as I'm doing the introductions. Thank you, thank you. I'm seeing a lot of people joining. We are joining in our masses, in our big numbers. So Coach Paps is here with us, and I want to do an introduction to her so that if you're meeting her for the first time, if you have not heard about her, then you know who she is. She's a wonderful lady, a friend of mine, a lady who is becoming very dear to and close to my heart. What I love about her is her grace. She's a very gracious lady to hang around. You know, the kind that you hang around and it's just peaceful and it's joyful and it all feels very nice and very healing. The kind of friends and the kind of people that you should be hanging around. So, Coach Paps Wanyugi is a certified confidence and wellness coach. She is a psychologist. She's a mentor, journeying with women, preteens, and teens. So I hope you capture that she's journeying with women, preteens, and teens. So if you're a woman here and you have teens that you are looking for somebody to journey with, you have a preteen and you're looking for somebody who can take them through the issues that comes with being a preteen and a teen, then Coach Paps is the one for you. So she journeys with them in the areas of purpose, clarity, emotional healing, and inner confidence. So you can tell she's a powerful lady that we have in the room today. We have in our session tonight. Coach Paps is also an author of 2 books. She has other 2 books. I'm sure she'll tell us more about those books as we proceed and maybe towards the end. Her first book is called Reconfidence. Reconfidence, Get Your Bold Back. And I'm sure she'll tell us more about that book. Her second book is Leading Generations, Mentoring the 21st Century Preteens and Teens in Africa. So those are her areas of focus. So if you are here and you have teens that require somebody to take them through purpose, emotional healing, inner confidence, or you're a woman struggling with those issues, then Coach Paps is here for you. So I want to allow her to take over to take us through what she has prepared for us. So let's keep the conversations happening. Let's keep the questions and the comments coming even as we learn. So Coach Paps, karibu sana. Welcome. The audience is here with you. Take us through. And we are looking forward to having a very blessed moment tonight. So karibu Paps.
Stop microcom. Okay. Can you hear me?
It's good
I
now.
hope
It's
so.
good now. Yes, it is.
All right. All right. Yeah. Hi, everyone. So good to be here. And thank you, Ruth, for having me. Yeah, Ruth is amazing. We've met this year and really connected. I just feel like pilgrimage that we're going towards the same direction, which is about healing, about people just getting back, to their best form and their best, just bringing your A game in life. And so this is really, really exciting. And today we are starting the Soul Clinic on the Rapid Healing Challenge. And the first conversation is tonight on healing your inner child. And before that, I have a trivia for you. Which girl do you think is Pops? So I want you to guess on the chat. Which one do you think is Pops? So there are 3 girls there. If you know my family, you're not allowed to participate. That is canvassing. And if you you have ever attended any session that this one was on display, you'll also be canvassing if you participate. Yeah, so let's share. Ruth, you can read for me if you can see the back end. Which one do you think? Maybe you can
Which
use the color, the clothes we are wearing.
which girl is Paps? I guess.
No, don't
Wow.
guess. I think I don't trust you. I don't trust you. We've talked too many things. Maybe I already spilled the beans. Yeah. Caroline is saying yellow. Yeah, Caroline is guessing it's yellow. Do you have any other guesses? Probably on the live. Just a fun thing to do together. You can never speak about healing your inner child without thinking of yourself as a little girl.
There are many. Let
You
me
have to
read
bring
them
the
for
girl to the
you.
room.
In white,
Okay.
Francisca Casina is saying
Mm-hmm.
in white. McKenna Babu says white. Irene Wangoi says
Mm-hmm.
white, the one standing. There's yellows.
Yeah.
Whoa, and they're moving fast. The one seated, yellow dress in white. The
Mm-hmm.
small one, white. Yes, purple.
Yeah.
Somebody has said
Thank you. I
purple.
think that is, yeah, purple. Yeah, purple top. The purple never gets a lot of votes. And the ones who are not voting for purple will definitely know that's not me. And of course, if you can just look at personality and everything, I'm the one who is being held down. That is how they had to manage me when I was young. I used to be all over. I used to be a very energetic child. So the yellows have it. Yay! Let me appreciate the yellows first. And um, growing up, I used to be a child who used to feel like I am too much. I think I got a lot of that, such kind of feedback in terms of you're too much, kimbelembele, like unatuaibisha. Like those are the words that probably came along in terms of my childhood. I remembered that a lot. And probably coming to my younger pups, this is me. So this was photo number 2. After being held down, I was given freedom. And please don't be fooled that I was shy and maybe looking to the ground because I can't face the cameraman. Hapo chini palikuwa na carrot. This foodie thing started back then. Like I just couldn't. I remember when I was young, I used to be these children who look full even when they are hungry. Like nilikuwa nakaa tu paa nimeshiba. And of course you guys can see the tummy in my pretty dress. And I was looking at a carrot that was there. I couldn't wait for the photo man to be done with this thing so that I can see, I can come back to my own thing. And when I think about my younger self, it's really, really been a journey. Number one, I was a labeled and shamed personality. Like who I was probably never the right thing in the room. I remember when we were going for family trips, my dad would just be like, when you're just leaving the door, na kabla mjenda, Shiro, ukienda huko uonekane usisikike. When you go there, let people see you, but let them not hear you. Because I used to feel like I would shame my family. Of course, if you want to know whether my dad was fired, whether they're quarreling with my mother, I was your girl. I will give you all the motiones in our family. And so that is how I got into trouble. And honestly, I used to feel like there's something wrong with me until 2007 when I sat down in a psychology class and I was like, maybe I'm just different. I just have a different personality. I'm just a different person. Probably everybody in our family has something that is a bit similar, but I used to feel like the odd one out. And then the other thing, I was verbally abused. I grew up in an environment that was very verbally abusive in school, at home, and of course body shamed a lot as a child. I really struggled with my body. Even when I was a teenager, I always used to believe I'm fat and ugly. Sometimes I can't believe like I had a petite body when I look back at my photos like back then. The other thing about me, I was a below average performer. Of course, when you have such a child, you don't give them too much attention. I remember like when we were young, there used to be rewarding system in our family where you'll go with my mother to Busia. It was such a big deal. She used to sell mtumbas. So she'll go to Busia and bring all the bells. So if you ukikuwa number 1, 2, 3, guys, I never made it to that trip. I actually took myself to Busia last month. And when I was there, I called my mother. I was like, "Where? Finally, I'm in Busia." Of course, I can't see any big deal when you are a grown up, but back then it was such a big deal. And I was a below average performer, so I really used to feel bad the fact that I couldn't just get the scores right because my family had was a high performance pressure kind of a family from even my grandparents. Like they used to believe you should be well educated. Like that was a big deal. So I always used to be on the wrong books of everyone when the report forms come. The other thing about me, I was a depressive and suicidal teenager when I was 15. That was in 1999. I wanted to call it a day that evening. I was just done. Things were so hard. I was not getting along with my friends in school, and then my grades were horrible. I remember on Form 3 that time I had a D plus, D for dog plus. Yeah, at least there was a plus on it. And I remember my parents just told me, we've given up on you. I don't think there is anything that will ever change. Nothing good will come out of you. And honestly, I was also done. I was just tired of my life as well. And on that night of 27th December, I wanted to call it quits. And I remember I wanted to throw myself in a borehole because apparently I had been quarantined. Kitambo hakukuwa na therapists. So when you misbehave, you're quarantined to a relative who will ram some sense into you. And of course, we are this no-nonsense auntie that I've been named after. So supposed to be exiled to go and live with her. It was a place hakuna stima, hakuna maji, just a place where you are really, really, really feeling like you're on timeout. And I remember that night I was just like, whether nobody wants me, nobody needs me, and why should I be here? And I'm so grateful that God rescued my life that night. It has been 24 years now. I keep on counting the 24 years because I keep on reminding myself everything that has happened in the past 24 years. You know, that has been grace. My reality is that 15-year-old girl who had given up on life. And then the other thing, I struggled a lot with purpose confusion after high school. I wanted to do sociology, but then there was no Google, so you didn't know what you would want to do. So I ended up doing IT, which I had zero passion for. And so I also spent 7 years just drifting through meaningless life, meaningless jobs. I used to feel like my life just doesn't have purpose, doesn't have clarity. And that is why I'm very passionate to make sure children discover what they are good at from as young as 9 years old. Let them just figure out some of the patterns and some natural inclinations in their life so that they can get there sooner. And then, of course, 16 years I spent in the journey to clarity and confidence. That is how I ended up coming to this space as a life coach, as a psychologist. It's been a journey. And honestly, when I look back at the younger paps, I just feel like, yeah, by there, I really owe her a big thank you for hanging in there because that is how we got here. And so, where I am right now, the journey has gotten me to this place where I'm the champion for women, preteens, and teens. I'm really passionate about this. Even when I'm watching news and something comes up that has to do with children, with women, it just touches the core of my heart. I remember like that time when there was this thing about the tea plantations and how women are being taken advantage of sexually. Like those things flipped me. I will spend sleepless nights just wondering, like, what should we do? And of course, when children are involved, it also touches the core of my heart. And these are areas I'm very passionate about. And then the other thing, I'm also the visionary leader of Reconfidence Solutions. So we have different coaching outfits for the ideal clients, women, preteens, teens. We also have programs for parents and also mentors, people who work with children. We just want to empower them because they're the ones who do most of the job. And then the other thing, I'm also a certified confidence and wellness coach. Yeah, so these are the amazing tools that help me in the work that I do. I'm also a psychologist and I've authored the two books that Ruth shared earlier. And then I'm also family and marriage enthusiast. Together with my husband, we run a platform called The Naked Couple. Yeah, where we say we are naked and not ashamed, especially for people who are in church. Sometimes we really do a lot of cover up. When things are not working, you just want to wear your kitenges, lift up your hands, couple goals, and inwardly you're really, really crashing and collapsing. And I believe Ruth, that is one of the greatest inspirations that I've had from her. I love her passion to just help us live out. Whoever you are inwardly is the same person you keep on showing up outwardly. Like you are an authentic person. You are consistent in who you are. You're congruent. That is the word we use in psychology, congruent. In a way, you are unified in who you are. And then, of course, I'm a wife and a mom, and this is our family. We are actually a blended family, and God has been really, really kind to us. The two tall boys that are towering between me and James. So, James is the one who is on my extreme right, where the balloons are more. We've been married for 11 years, and then between us is Jimmy, who is our firstborn, and Karanja, who is on the other side, is our secondborn. We acquired them, or God blessed them, blessed us with them 6 years ago, going to 7 now, and they've been such a blessing to us. So Jimmy is living on his own. He's working as an electrical installation kind of a guy, and then Karanja is in Kiambu High. He's in Form 2. He went back today, and then we have Crystal. Now these two are our biological children. Crystal is 9, and then Yaniv is 5. And this was during the book launch for the Leading Generations, which was in May. Yeah, I'm really, really, really grateful for this wonderful family that helps us to just keep on being an expression. I usually see this as such a blessing that I didn't deserve in so many ways. And God has been so kind to us in terms of bringing us this far. And then these are the amazing ladies. So a beautiful story, fact. This is Emotionally Bold Woman. So we were on a retreat. This is last month. Yeah, I know there's one pretty girl who is here. I don't know about the others, but there's one who we chat a while ago. And one of the things is being able to be in a space where you keep on remembering your childhood. You keep on bringing your child along. And when we went for this retreat, which was last month, we played a lot of childhood games. Like everyone will teach us their childhood game. We'll be there jumping, na ile ya kusukuma kamawe in those squares, like just being able to live out that place. And one of us is actually here. Maggie is such a dear, dear, dear girl in our circles. Maggie is right now 66, 66 or 64 there. And she was there. She was also doing her thing. And when you think about healing our inner child, is being able to keep in touch with that person that is most joyful expression of yourself, where you are able to really, really connect with yourself deeply in a way how you're living out this adulting thing, which sometimes is so hard. Is also an expression of the playful pockets that you need to keep on reminding yourself that you deserve. And I really love quoting the Bible because that has been my manual, especially those 24 years as I was sharing. God has really been the go-to place for me. And I love John 10:10, which says the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but he came that you may have life in abundance. And I always think life in abundance is such an intentional place to live, because the things that will steal, the things that will destroy, the things that will kill, they are all over every day, running after us and haunting us. And so life in abundance is such an intentional choice for you to come to that place, even as you think about healing your inner child. And then when you think about inner child reflection, I want you to close your eyes just for a bit. I hope you're not driving. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. If you're walking in the dark, don't close your eyes. But if you're in a comfortable place, like some of us who are in the house, or maybe you're just in a safe place, you can close your eyes a bit. And I just want you to feel your inner child. Some of us have never given them attention. We just keep on winging it. We keep on cruising through life as adults, but we never pause to remember, there's a little girl, there's a little guy in there who has been such a great support for you to get to where you are. It's because they didn't give up. That is how you became this adult and have all these amazing achievements. It's because they supported you. And I just want you to be aware of your younger self, probably when you're a child. I usually say the best place to think of yourself is when you're a 5-year-old. Probably by then life was a bit ideal. You didn't even know what was going on around you. I've also met clients who can't remember their childhood in terms of, I can't remember when I was 5. But some of us probably have watched photos. You've been probably told a few stories about yourself as a child. And I just want you to allow yourself, even as you breathe in, allow yourself to just feel grateful for how that child has traveled with you through the highs and lows, through the ups and downs of your life. And the fact that that child doesn't go anywhere. Many people usually assume that, when I grow up, the inner child disappears and then now I'm this adult. No, you are all those versions of yourself. You are that preschooler, you are that primary school child, you are that high schooler in terms of the teen you are, you're that young adult, you're that probably midlife kind of a person, or if you're probably above 60, you're also that older adult in terms of the more refined version of yourself up to where you are right now. All those are parts of you. And I just want you to breathe in very deeply and then breathe out. And then again, take a deep one and just appreciate the journey you've been through, all those transitions of your life and how you are defining yourself in all those seasons. Breathe in, breathe out. Awesome. Just like this picture, see yourself as, someone on an adventure, and you keep on holding the hand of your younger self. And also the younger self keeps on holding your hand, because sometimes being an adult, we keep on losing the joys of our childhood, which is the core of who we are. And so your younger self also holds your hand, especially into joyful places, into forgiveness, into healing. There are things you can only do when you think as a child, because sometimes the logic of being an adult can be so complex. It's like we become very complex human beings, and then we keep on losing some simplicity that we had in a way. Things we didn't have to overthink when you were younger. Sometimes you need the younger child, the younger self, to keep on holding your hand and lead you into those places in the woods. And we shall be coming back to this reflection later. And so what are some of the lies we usually teach our inner child, especially when you think about ourselves as people who've been wounded, people who've been through a journey that we're really, really trusting God for healing? Number one, we keep on teaching her that she is odd. It's because right now your older self, or the adult that you are, is more logical. They can process things probably from a place of more logic, because a child's world is usually idealistic. And then as a reality check, that is why we usually say, like, when did you know? Like, probably when you are wounded, when did you know when this and these things happen in your life? I think there's a time we've been using that tagline a lot in terms of a hashtag, like, at what age were you when you discovered this and this and this? And sometimes we've taught our inner child, and that is why she's not able to move on, or he's not able to move on, that she is odd. They owe me. And then the problem is that we bring that inner child into new relationships, but we still want her to keep on collecting from people in our past. And so one of the things of they owe me, probably you are still collecting from your father or your mother, and then you still want your husband or your wife to keep on repaying you this debt that is inexhaustible. And that is one lie we teach our inner child. She refuses to move on. from things that happened to her, from what she didn't receive when she was younger. For example, one of the things that every girl should have received from the father, especially every girl, because girls are wired differently from boys in terms of their requirement in childhood, is attention, affirmation, and affection. And so you never got attention from your father. You never got affirmation from your father in terms of I believe in you, I see you. And you also never got affection in terms of I love you, gentle touches. And so you keep on feeling like you need to collect from the people in your life currently to meet that need. And so this inner child shows up in adult relationships, still collecting things that she never received as a child. And this is a lie we teach her. And so what will happen? The adult needs to keep on reminding the child that you're an adult. You can meet your own needs. Nobody owes you anything. Whatever you are owed, you need to probably give to yourself. And that is why one of the things we always encourage women, take yourself out, buy yourself coffee. You want that dress? Who will wear it? Go and buy it. You want to go for holiday? Hell yes. Go to bonfire and start paying pole pole. Go for that holiday. Nobody owes you anything. And that is one of the lies we teach our inner child. And of course, the other thing we teach her is a lie. And of course, there's something about your inner child that is unrealistic in terms of the expectations and everything. And then now the realistic adult keeps on submitting to her on some of these things. And so we teach her by reconditioning and just reinforcing what she already believed when she was younger. And so what we are doing is to reparent ourselves as now the adults we are, so that you keep on reminding the child the truth. And you also remind yourself that I am the adult who will meet the need of my inner child. And so the other thing is they came to my rescue. We watched so many movies when we were young. We read all those nice storybooks. Cinderella, and how you'll come and someone will whisk you away. Even when you're getting married, it was my knight in the shining armor, and then you realize you're stuck with an idiot in a metal suit. It's because you are hoping someone is coming to rescue you. Someone will come and save you from your misery, from your horrible life, from your traumas. And so you need to remind your child tonight, nobody's coming. Nobody's coming. Stop looking at the door. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to rescue you. And that is a lie we keep on teaching her. So she acts helplessly. Even in situations she can do something for herself. There's something in psychology we call learned helplessness. And it was an experiment done on some dogs. They were caged and electrocuted continuously. So when they were electrocuted, of course, the cage is closed. They will whine, they will jump up and down. And then with time, the dogs will just lie. And then one day, that guy was doing the experiment, decided to open the cage door and then electrocuted the dog. Guess what happened? Yeah, you're right. The dog lied down there and continued whining without even moving. And sometimes that is how we behave in life when we've been used to pain, we've been used to traumas, we've been used to abuse, we've been used to rejection. You keep on hoping someone will come and rescue you, but you don't realize the cage is open, you need to move out. That is the responsibility of your adult to remind your child. And then the other thing is that we were coming into those spaces expecting they should heal me. They should heal me. They should understand me. They should accommodate me. They should heal me. Yeah, they should come to my level and heal me. But you don't understand that healing is a very personal journey. It's a very personal journey. It is tears and blood, but it's a very personal journey. And when you keep on teaching the inner child that someone else is responsible for their healing, then they'll never get healed. We will just come to the sunset years of our lives and we are still 80-year-olds, 70-year-olds who are still wounded, who are still bleeding. And of course, we keep on bleeding on people who did not hurt us and who did not cut us. And so nobody owes you healing. You need to remind the inner child. And you need to remind them that I'm here for you. We will walk through this healing journey. Nobody is going to heal you. And so if you're married, your spouse can't heal you. They can't. Nobody is responsible for your childhood trauma apart from you. You're the one who knows what healing looks like, nobody else. And then the lies we teach her, she's damaged goods because of what happened in her past, because of what she went through, because of the pain she's experiencing. You're like, you know what? You will never be anybody. You'll never be. And what happens is that when we convince the inner child these lies, then the adult gets so good at masking everything. We show up in power suits and power postures. We keep on achieving great things, building monuments. But the problem is that inwardly, you still feel like damaged goods. And so there's nothing outward that you'll ever achieve that will validate you. And what happens when you think you're damaged goods is that you feel like nothing can ever fix you. You never see yourself as a complete person. And one of the beautiful things in life, and especially now when it comes to perspective of faith, it's reminding myself it is possible for me to be a masterpiece and work in progress at the same time. I don't have to have it together. Do you know some of us will not be coaches, we will not be therapists, we will not be doing the work we do if you are banking on ourselves and how we feel about ourselves every day to keep on showing up. Because you'll never have a perfect life. You will never have your ducks in a row. Some of us are not even sure we have any ducks. Some of us, our ducks are mixed up with goose and chicken, like you have everything together. But you're still waiting for all of them to line up, face the same direction so that you can cross the road. And then one day you're a skeleton that never crossed the road. And so it's possible, yeah, you're broken, but you are functional. Keep on leveraging on what is working to keep on moving and keep on showing up for yourself. Stop sabotaging yourself because you keep on feeling like you're damaged goods. Do you know there is nobody who is not damaged to some extent? Actually, after COVID, everybody is going through some level of trauma. Everybody's mental health was affected in one way or the other, at least by the dread of what it meant to us. Of course, there are people who leveraged and made big on it, but even them, there was the dread of death on them every day. You are not damaged goods. And even if you are damaged, you are still functional. Keep on leveraging on that. And then the other lies we teach her is that she is helpless. She can't do anything about it. Because the moment you feel like damaged goods, then you feel like there's nothing that can be fixed. You can't do anything. And you know why we are here in this rapid healing and transformation challenge? It is to get you to help yourself. You're not helpless. And it's because you're not damaged goods. And so you can rise up and do something about it. And when you think about adverse childhood experience, these are some of the things that we may have gone through. And of course, they're reflecting in one way or the other in terms of how we show up. And so I don't know what is your story, but probably some of us have gone through physical abuse. Some of us went through physical neglect. I've met so many clients who raised themselves. You are self-made from the scratch. I remember a girl who took herself to high school and her parents were comfortably at home. Like nobody thought education was important. She took herself. She's the one who figured out. She even went and negotiated for school fees when they couldn't pay. That physical neglect. And some of us were abandoned physically. Like someone walked out and they never came back. And then, of course, some of us have also come from households where key family members, like probably your dad or your mom, were struggling for mental health issues. And so they were absorbed in their own pain. They were never there for you. And that can be so, 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 so devastating for a child later in life. Some of us have gone through sexual abuse, different forms, whether it was just even a touch that was inappropriate. You need to process all those things. And you know why it is important to think about adverse childhood experiences? It's because many of us do not validate what our inner child went through. We don't validate our childhood experiences because maybe you are ashamed to silence. I've met a client who went through abuse. She was actually found, like her brother walked into her being raped when she was going back from school. And then he came running home and told the mother. And then, of course, they waited for her to come. They were like, you should never talk about this. See, Bisha family, to see why say anything. Of course, she invited her girlfriend, like that mom, like the way I will invite my friend to come and talk to my daughter. And of course, they downplayed that whole thing. In a way, she felt like it was my fault. It was my responsibility. And of course, she was violated much more later because anything that was not validated, then it means it was never resolved. And tonight is the night. And of course, this week, as we're doing the Rapid Healing and Transformation Challenge, you need to validate everything that happened to you as a child. Be petty about your experiences and everything you went through. Start digging it up. If you need to start journaling what happened to you as a child. Go and ask if you need more information. You need to heal all those subconscious things that are buried beneath who you are and beneath the smart suits. You need to deal. And of course, the other thing, loss of a parent due to death, divorce, or abandonment, that can also adversely affect your inner child. The other thing is emotional abuse. Some of us, there was no physical beating. You went to the best schools, but you could really feel like your family was emotionally abusive. Probably there was silence treatment, and of course, just emotionally, you kept on feeling like you are wrong emotionally. Like the way I said, for us, it was just being made to feel like you're useless, you're a burden, you're a liability. That can also affect you. The other thing is emotional neglect, where your emotional needs were never met. How many of you are even soothed when you were hurt? I remember like us, when you go, sijui umetegwa, sijui umeanguka, sijui una bleed. my dad will just ask you, ulikuwa unatembea ukiwa umeangalia juu? And honestly, guys, I've ever found myself asking my daughter that. Can you imagine? We keep on healing. And emotional neglect, the fact that you are not soothed, nobody calmed you down, probably when you're younger, when you're crying, nobody reassured you about your fears. All that emotional neglect will come back to you. And that, the reason we are having this conversation is so that you can also learn to meet those needs for yourself. It will change how you talk to yourself, how you talk at yourself. The other thing is household member who is addicted to illegal drugs and alcohol. Sometimes we just kept on feeling my dad is drunk or my mom, and we kept on minimizing it, but it was deeply affecting you to just see someone else who is an adult with their life out of control because of the bad decisions they're also making. You know, they had their own reasons, but I usually say that everybody has a higher way of meeting their needs and resolving their pain. Probably they choose the lower ones. And then the other thing is household members who also were incarcerated. Probably they were in prison, or maybe they were just not accessible. Some of us, probably it's that trauma of having grown up with even people keep on getting arrested because of the kind of work they do. They're always withheld, they're always kept away. Like that can also affect a child deeply. And then, of course, the other thing is witnessing domestic violence against our parents, especially our mothers. That really, 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 really flips a child. And so, if these are your stories, how it affects you, of course, you can see the bar down there. Let me just make it on a wide screen. So, number one is risky health behavior. So, some of us, even the food addictions we have, the dependence we have, how we are making probably how we sleep, even the addictions you have concerning even technology and everything is a reflection of things that you've not processed and you've not dealt with. And so we keep on having risky behaviors in terms of our food, in terms of even the company we keep, in terms of the addictions we are struggling with behind the scenes. Some of those addictions, because you're probably not in a rehab, they are very negligible, but you know that they are incapacitating your life. They are sucking out potential from you. And it's important for you to acknowledge. The other thing is chronic health conditions. Some of us have also ended up in a place where our health is in such an adverse place where we are probably depending on drugs because of adverse childhood experiences that we went through. And of course, low potential in life. You just keep on feeling like I don't give my best. I don't bring my A game. And one of the things we're doing around now in wellness is being able to assess your wellness even from a place of performance. There's a method we are using called the Power Up. And what we are doing with my clients is being able to come to a place where you assess your performance right now in terms of even how you're showing up in life, whether you are in business or you are employed. Do you feel like you're really bringing your A game? You know, are you bringing your best game in terms of your intellect? You know, is your imagination and creativity and rational and reasoning on your best? And if not, what can you do about it? So that we take responsibility of the life in abundance factor in our lives. And of course, early death. The fact is, if we keep on rolling the way we are, then we cut short our destinies and our future and everything, because the child keeps on crying for attention and we ignore her until the day he or she gives up, and then we are no longer on earth as well. And then the next one. So what are the effects of childhood trauma? Of course, these are the main areas that probably we help journey through. First of all, the spiritual effects. This is massive. So many of us probably even feel like we are not spiritual, or maybe we are struggling in that space. But sometimes it's a place to dig in and ask yourself, how has it affected me? How have I been affected? Especially people who grew up also in spiritual families. Probably it was a spiritually abusive environment where God was misrepresented. Those are sometimes the childhood trauma effects. Like I remember in our family, we had these people who used to come pray for us in the house. They will be so demanding. We grew up in churches where you feel like you had to fast and do so many things to get to God. All those are childhood trauma effects. And sometimes we find ourselves subconsciously going back to such things. And Shakahola is one of the experiences of spiritual effects of childhood traumas that people have not processed in terms of having a healthy relationship with who God is. And then the other thing is physical effects. So it affects your health, your energy, you know, how you show up, activities of daily living. Do you feel like you are functional? Do you feel like you have energy for every day? Are you sleeping well? Are you eating well? All those places are affected in childhood trauma experiences. And of course, intellectual in terms of bringing your brilliance on the table, being able to live out that place so you feel like you bring your A game every time. Some of us have amazing ideas. You're so brilliant, but you keep on feeling you don't even live out half of who you are. And that is one of the intellectual effects of childhood trauma. The other thing is financial effects. We just can't see the money. Some of us are not even paid our worth because you can't negotiate. Every time you go and maybe you're pitching an idea or maybe even negotiating your salary, you keep on seeing your father there and how harsh he was, and then you keep on backing off, you know. And it's one of the experiences that many women go through, where they start seeing their dads as their bosses, as their dads who probably were dysfunctional, and then you keep on having a dysfunctional relationship that also hinders your professional growth. And those are some of the things we address in the professionally bold woman. You need to know how to show up in a way that you're bringing your worth, and you're able to negotiate for it, and you're able to walk away from bad deals as well. And financial effect is also how you spend money. Some of us are very wasteful because you keep on over how would I say, you keep on overcompensating to yourself in an unhealthy way. You eat, you spend, you shop, like all those things. Whenever you're feeling empty, your finances keeps on suffering because you've not dealt with those things, but you keep on hoping they will go away by pacifying them, which doesn't work. The other thing is emotional effects, and so many people are stuck emotionally. And this program is amazing, this program that Ruth is running through this rapid healing, for the emotional healing, for you to be able to get to the truth, get down to the bottom of it, and just deal with it. The other thing about childhood trauma is social effects. You keep on, first of all, trauma bonding. You keep on picking friends that maybe you have something in common, and so you keep on being stuck. You don't have people who challenge you, people who call you out. You also don't have people who really know you. So you keep on just having people that you have superficial relationships with, and so nobody really sees you for who you are. And those are usually the social effects, because this child runs to hide away. They learn to hide away. And of course, the adult keeps on masking and just pretending that they are fine. And of course, that trauma effect, it's actually a trauma response where you refuse to show up authentically. Then it affects you in terms of the people who surround you never really get to know you. You never really get to enjoy deep, intimate relationships with anyone. I know people who've been married even for over 10 years, and their husbands or their wives don't even know who they are. And that is social effect in terms of how you're able to connect with people in a healthy way, how you're able to have healthy attachments in your relationship. All that is effect of the childhood trauma. And so what are the remedies? Number one, you need to stop looking at the door. I've already said that nobody is coming. Stand up, go outside and fix everything that you need to. Start facing things, go for therapy, join this soul clinic, the programs that Ruth will be telling us about later. Start your own journey of healing. Take responsibility for yourself. The other thing, activate your adult to meet your needs. You know what? You need to keep on seeing yourself as someone you can talk to. And so sometimes, like even myself, I've really, really learned to perfect the act of talking to myself, in terms of, I know when the child is talking to the adult and when the adult is talking to the child. You're like, perhaps ni sawa, tutakuwa tu poa. It's fine. It's fine. Learn to talk to your inner child. Learn to meet her needs or his needs. Learn to show up for yourself. That is how you activate your adult to meet your need. Either you stop, and of course that means that you need to stop being an adult throughout by just being logical and ignoring the undertones in your life and the noises. And also you need to stop being a child and just abandoning yourself to other people's care. Learn to activate those two places in your life where you're meeting your inner child's needs. Talk to them, pacify them, encourage them, give them hope, reassure them. Keep on having those conversations with yourself. One of the most powerful things you can learn to do this is to journal. Talk to yourself through journaling. Speak to yourself even in a third-party voice. Yeah, so I think you need to take care of Paps more, meet her needs. Like yesterday, Paps was worried. You should have shown up for her. Because some of us talk down at ourselves. We are the voices of the people we didn't like in our childhood. That is how you keep on talking to yourself. When you fail, you beat yourself and you talk to yourself in the voice of that adult in your life who kept on putting you down. You need to change your language. And of course, the other thing you need to do is to find your natural child. And by this, I mean there are usually three dynamics within yourself. So there's the natural child, who is the healthy child. And then there's usually the hurt child, the hurting child. This child is wounded. This child is, downtrodden. This child is really stuck. And then there's usually the controlling child, who is now trying to fix it her own way or his own way. And the controlling child usually loves being in control. They love controlling people, controlling situations. But the hurt child loves backing off and being helpless. But your natural child is when you learn to train those two to cooperate with this natural child. This is usually the logical part of you, but at the same time, it's a part of you that is, first of all, logical, but again, it is showing up with the healthy part of what you should have been when you were a child. In a way, you're still playful, you're still reasonable, you're still understanding, you're still forgiving, you're still loving, but at the same time, you have boundaries. And so building this natural child is a journey. And of course, you need to keep on addressing. It's like you keep on calling the tree for a meeting. You're like, wewe hurting child, kuja ukae hapa. Na wewe controlling child, buka ini hapa. And then the natural child addresses the nation. And she's like, this is how we are going to do this. And so whenever you're confronting a situation in your life, you invite these three to the room and you talk to them. And then you agree what everyone needs to do or stop doing or do less or do more until you come to a place where your natural child is fully in control of your life and cooperating with the adult. And then the other thing is learn what is within your boundaries. That is the remedy for an inner child. Because if the inner child doesn't have boundaries, then everybody keeps on walking over them. And I really love this. It's from the book on boundaries, knowing where to say yes and how to say no. And these are the 10 things that are within your boundaries. And you can never blame anyone if these things are not in place in your life. First of all, you're responsible for your thoughts. If you keep on thinking things that suck about yourself, about other people, just to remind you in a very subtle way, it's your fault. It is your fault that you don't keep on renewing your mind and working through your thoughts and even thinking the truth. Because some of us, what we think about is true, but it's not the truth. And so for you to come to the truth, it's a whole journey of redefining what is even true for you and what is false. And then you come to the truth. And so your thoughts in terms of how you conclude situations, how you make judgments, if you keep on being stuck there, then your inner child is always a hostage. And then the other thing, you're responsible for your emotions. You can't blame anyone for anything you feel. Those times you feel useless, you feel hopeless. Like myself that night when I was feeling so much despair, I can't keep on blaming. You can't keep on blaming your parents. You can't keep on blaming that teacher. You can't keep on blaming your spouse. Just remind yourself, you know what? I am the one who is in charge of the switch in my life. And there's something very powerful that we teach in coaching in terms of you can be able to change your emotional states. We keep on thinking like, yeah, by the way, when I'm low, I'll just eat it out and then I will wait for it to pass. But those times that you are happy and then you remember something that is sad, or even you meet someone, how comes you're able to change your emotional state in that situation? You're just happy, minding your own business, and then all of a sudden you're sad, you're depressed because of an encounter. What makes you think you can't apply the same skill to move from sad, depressed to a place of happy? You are in charge of emotional states. And you can never blame anyone for how you feel. Ouch. The other thing, you're responsible for your decisions. Just keep on reminding yourself, nobody is holding a gun on my head to do the things that I keep on doing, which are self-defeating, to keep on staying in relationships that are destructive. Nobody is holding a gun on my head. And so much as you'll blame other people, just keep on reminding yourself you're responsible for your decisions. One day when you're up, leave the door, go and see a therapist, do something about it, set boundaries, be firm. Those decisions, they still come from you because you are so strong. You're stronger than you think, and you're able to rise up and fix your life more than you can imagine. The other thing is your beliefs. Sometimes we have things that have crystallized in terms of emotions and thoughts. You kept on doing it and doing it and doing it until you start feeling like, this is probably a conclusion of my life. For example, even that statement that probably we grew up hearing in terms of, yeah, men are dogs, that belief. And then what happens? You keep on meeting people who are backing throughout the day. And you see, that belief came from some decisions you made, from some emotions you felt, from some thoughts you had, from experiences you had, which is sometimes a trauma response. And so you keep on concluding and judging things in a generalized way, and it keeps on affecting your life. And so when it comes to your beliefs and attitudes, those are places that you're also responsible for. The other thing is your talents. If you never become the amazing person that you always dreamt about, you never achieve your dreams, you never fulfill your desires, you die empty and you just keep on feeling like your potential was wasted. Guess what? You're responsible for yourself. And so if you quit school to stay at home and probably you keep on feeling bad about it, you're responsible for your talents. And that is the same thing when you think about the parable of the talent, the person who buried it because they didn't want to do anything about it, because of appended drama. What happened to them? It was taken away from them. And so you can never blame anyone if you never become the amazing person and fulfill your full potential in life. The other thing is your desires. You're responsible for your desires. All those dreams, all that bucket list that you've been dreaming about, if you never go for a holiday in your life, if you never probably become that amazing thing that you've been wanting to do, even in terms of your talents, in terms of your desires, in terms of the things you wanted to do when you were a child, you know what? If you give up on your dreams, it is your fault. You can never blame anyone for it. And the other thing is your character. You know what? When you think about character, it's the fact that who we are in the darkness and in the light, we keep on varying those places. And now we look like we are bipolar. You keep on customizing yourself in terms of how you show up here, how you show up here. Sometimes you don't even know what you did last time in this friendship or relationship that you need to keep on doing. Hujui ulidanganyana aje hapa ndio uweze kukeep hiyo uongo ikigo, you know. And so when we think about our character, it's within your boundary to come to a place of living out your truth. Sometimes I even meet wives who are just like, when we are in church, everybody thinks we are couple goals. I'm like, but you are responsible for showing up consistently. And even going and telling the pastor, by the way, we don't have it together. We are in a deep shit in our marriage and we need help. Why should you keep on leading there and you look like you have it together, you're couple goals, but at the same time, outward here, you are suffering, you're being mistreated? That is a character issue. But you're responsible for your character, not the other person's. And that is why for you being congruent and deciding you want to be the same person consistently in all your spaces, that is part of your responsibility. And I love the way if you're probably thinking about integrity and character, please go and listen to Miles Monroe. He's done a very, very, very amazing conversation on integrity, in terms of integrity is being one. And sometimes we are really struggling emotionally. We are really stuck because we keep on masking and showing up as different people in terms of you have version 1 up to version 10. And David, that is why David prays in Psalms, unite my heart to fear you. I always think like, cause me to be one person so that this one person is actually doing that in fear of God. And then the other thing is your values. If your values keep on being violated, and of course you just keep on feeling like this is not who I am, this is not who I wanted to be, the things that you used to believe, you no longer believe in them, you are responsible for your values. They're within your boundaries to define them, to uphold them, to respect them, and to teach other people to honor them. It's up to you. The other thing, you're responsible for your limits. You are the one who knows how far is too far in your life. The day you wake up and you're in Madare or maybe in another mental institution, you've been committed there because you collapsed on your life. You are the one who knew how far is too far. When people are pushing you, they don't know. They don't know your elasticity. They don't know how much tension you can bear. And you are the one who knows what is your breaking point, and you are responsible for it. And then finally, you're responsible for your love. First of all, to love yourself. And the other thing, to also choose where you put your love. And when you think about you're responsible for your love, you can never blame anyone for not loving you, because you first of all owe yourself a lot of love. And self-love is not just probably taking yourself to spa and all those things. It's making good decisions that support you and that favor you, that guides your inner child. That is part of love. And so healing your inner child, still coming back to this image as we start to wrap it up, it's being able to guide yourself and to heal yourself. And I want you to just take a moment to do a reflection. And so I hope the ones who are not able to close their eyes earlier can do that. I want you to just close your eyes and just be aware of where you are with your inner child. From all these conversations, I know probably they have really triggered you, made you feel a bit more conflicted, but I just want you to also push beyond all these hazy feelings and go to the truth. In terms of, ask yourself, what does my inner child need? What do they need? Where are they struggling? And also, how have I been masking it? Where have I been downplaying her and probably even shutting her or him down? Where you don't listen to yourself, you don't attend to yourself. Some of us, we have inner children who've been screaming for attention, screaming for acknowledgement, and we keep on shoving them down as adults. But the problem is that they still keep on leaking out. Their screams are leaking out in your behavior, in your emotions, in your mental health situation, sometimes even in my weight, in my health condition. All those are leakages of my inner child. And I just want you to ask yourself also, what is the one thing I can do when I wake up tomorrow to take care of my inner child? Just one. What is the one thing I can do? And then I want you to breathe in. As you breathe in, just feel yourself breathing into the inner child, acknowledging him or her that, yeah, I can see you, I can feel you, I know you are in there. And then when you breathe out, just release the shame, the condemnation, the weight that maybe we've been bearing as we try to micromanage things and control things. Just allow yourself to release all that. And so I want you to breathe in and acknowledge your inner child. And then breathe out and release all her burdens or his burdens. Breathe in again, breathe into the inner child. And then breathe out and just allow her to enjoy freedom or him. Awesome. And so these are the four strongholds. Let me just go through them very quickly. I can see we have like 6 minutes. Please keep on asking the questions. I hope you're putting them on the chat, and then Ruth will just share them when I'm done with this in the next few. These are the four strongholds, and a stronghold is usually a place that was built in the olden days, especially like this is from a biblical perspective. When you think about the strongholds were the places where people would hide so that even if there is war, there is probably bombing and everything, you'll be safe in that stronghold. And of course, when you think about strongholds, you will also leave them whenever it was safe. And they were built, they were layered, they were reinforced. There were such strong places. And our beliefs over all those years, we've been building many strongholds that are impenetrable. We are not accessible. You are in such a place that you are so walled and so distant and so far. But you know what? You're the one who needs to walk out of this stronghold. People may not break in to get to where you are, but you're the one who can get out and come to where you need help, where you need people to really know you, where they'll be happy to meet who you really are. And the four strongholds that we need to focus on is this one: your heart set, your mindset, your health set, and your skill set. And very quickly, when you think about inner child alignment, is the right mindset, which has to do with your psychology. You need to redefine your psychology in terms of wrong beliefs you have about yourself, about people, about life, and then also build great psychology and strong beliefs. The other thing is the right heart set, which is freedom from sadness, pain, anger, bitterness that clogs the flow of your life. Just still, allow your heart to be vulnerable. Some of us, we have a heart of stone, and God is calling us to a heart of flesh, where you're able to feel all these emotions and you process them and you go through them. The other thing is the right health set, which is about your vitality, your energy protection, and living a long life so that you can serve more and do great things. Currently, we are running a program for women called Physically Bold Woman for 6 months, where you come, we walk, we do smoothies, we do intermittent fasting, everything to just get ourselves to the right health set. We want our BMIs to be top notch. And because we want to build our vitality, to protect our energy, to come to a place where we love how we look, and we're not just doing it for ourselves because of the great assignment that is in our lives. And then, of course, the last thing is the right soul set, connecting with your divine nature and virtues. That is usually you in your truest self. If you're not living out your soul set, then it means you're living on your ego. Pride and that place of me, I, and myself. But right soul set, you think about us, there's otherness, there's togetherness, there's me flowing out in abundance to other people, which is a beautiful place to live. When the inner child is aligned, these are the four places where she will break out of the stronghold, or he will break out of the stronghold, to have the right mindset, the right heart set, freedom, and of course also for them to have the right health set, where you're really enjoying your life, you're enjoying being healthy, you're enjoying wellness and having good habits to support you there. And of course, you're also enjoying being a soulful person, to laugh and laugh deeply, to be deeply happy, to keep on feeling your feelings in a deeper way. This is part of having the right soul set as well. And so, any questions you have for me, yeah, I'm happy to respond to them. And before that, these are the two books that I will encourage you to grab. Confidence has a lot of coverage in terms of the inner child. It focuses on three things. Number one, your purpose confidence, and then number two, your inner confidence, and then of course your God confidence. I really, really, really believe that, for example, if you're struggling with healing your inner child, or maybe you're just feeling stuck somewhere, confidence is such a good book for you to get your ball back. And then of course, if you're a parent, make sure you grab Leading Generations. This is how you'll ensure you don't pass on the wounds, and you're able to journey with your children through the crisis, because they are growing up in a different time and age. And this is a handbook, so there are many issues that I've addressed here. There are actually 23 issues that children are struggling with globally, and of course in an African context. The context and the vibe is African, and of course it's a book that every chapter is based on a research. It's also based on myths, wrong beliefs we have, for example, even about sexuality, things that are concerned with sexuality, including even homosexuality, and mental health for children, and how they experience their emotions, and even things like, for example, academic performance, and things like even mindsets that children struggle with. How can you journey with them? Even technology, and the fact that some of them are spending too much time on screen. So Leading Generations is a good handbook, and it has practical things you can do. So it focuses on myths, beliefs in terms of myths, and then there is facts, and then there is effects, how children are affected and what causes it, and then of course there is bold moves in terms of what can you do to support your child if they are going through of any of those crises, or even people who are around them. And so grab these two books, yeah, and get yourself the support you need. And so, Ruth, I don't know whether we have any questions. I hope we can still pray at the end, if Ruth doesn't mind. I know this is her
Yes,
space,
yes,
but
yes,
I
Coach
really believe in
Babs.
in prayer and how God
That's
can help us. Yeah, go ahead, Ruth.
yes, that's fine. We can pray at the end.
All right.
I'm seeing if someone was asking, she has a question. Is there anonymous? I can WhatsApp. Uh, wow. Do you have our contacts? If you have our contacts, maybe you can WhatsApp to one of us. Then we can read it from there. Wow, I didn't see this. Someone is saying the screen is not clear, not for me. Anyone with the same challenge? What was not clear about the screen? Is there something that you wanted to say and you didn't see? Otherwise, we have a lot of very positive comments, Coach Paps. The example you gave of an idiot in a metal suit,
Yeah.
supposed to be the knight, the knight in shining armor. I mean, how do you burst our bubble like that? Instead of getting a knight in shining armor, we got an idiot
I know. Yeah.
in a metal
Caroline,
suit.
I can see one question from Caroline here. He's asking,
Yes.
what are the needs for boys when growing up? Of course,
Uh,
one of the things is when boys are below 10, I really love sharing this. One of the things is that they need is definitely the affirmation, the assurance, and most of the times they lean more on their mother. And of course, mothers are naturally very nurturing and affirming, at least most of them. I know there are people who've probably not had a good motherhood experience. But then when boys start um, coming to the two digits, like probably 10, that is when they need identity. And their need for their father or a positive male figure really kicks in strongly. So sometimes I meet women who are probably maybe going through separation. The child is too small. I'm like, you know what? This child needs you right now. You're like their lifeline, because before 10, a child just needs boys needs are very simple. They are not complicated. And then now later, that is when they really need someone who can shape their identity, because the greatest need that boys have is identity, for them to be able to define now themselves as men, because you remember they're the ones who will give identity to their families. Girls usually come and they adopt identity of someone else, like for example in the instance of marriage. But boys are the ones who are supposed to lead that family and create a base for it. I hope that makes sense. But boys needs when they're young, for example, the subtlety of it is that they are probably not as needy as girls when they're in these formative stages, because remember um the phallic stage, where the
mhm.
Oedipus complex also kicks in, and they
Yes.
start envying the parent of the opposite sex. Yeah, but most of the times mothers are usually very present to meet that need, because they are very affectionate. So boys navigate below 10 in a very positive way, and then later that is when the crisis hits, if they don't have good support up here. Yeah, I hope that makes sense, Carol.
All right. I'm seeing someone asking how much are the books and where can they be found?
Oh yeah. So these books are on Nuria Bookstore. You can get them from there. And of course, you can also get it from my website, reconfidencewithpaps.com. Reconfidencewithpaps.com. So you'll just look at that, reconfidencewithpaps.com. Right now, I'm running a book bundle offer where you can get both of them at 1750. So you can probably go there. You'll just need to pay on the till number that is therein. And then you can also get in touch with me. Probably I can just put my number on the chat, or Ruth can put it for me. And then you can get in touch with me if you probably need the book, and then we will make sure we get it to you and have it delivered to you. And then Nuria is also a good place to get it. Nuria Bookstore, they deliver everywhere, all over the world. Yeah, so you can also get it from Nuria Bookstore. If you just Google Nuria Bookstore and then you type Reconfidence or Leading Generations, we've already stocked them there. Yeah.
All right. There's someone who is asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someone is saying their dog's barking.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear them.
Their dog's
Hi,
barking.
dogs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hi, say hi to the dogs. There's someone who is asking, what about girls who are growing up without an emotionally available father who
Mm.
has never addressed his own childhood trauma and
Mm.
he's a mental health
Mm.
therapist?
Yeah, he's a mental health therapist. Yeah. But then he's probably not dealing, and then he shows up as a dysfunctional father. Is that
Yes,
it? Yeah.
yes,
One of the things that I've been encouraging moms is make sure you get positive models for your girls. Whether it's in church community, whether it's your brother, just keep on exposing them to a stable environment of people who can just show them that they believe in them and everything. And then the other thing is also, I know we grew up in a time and age where mothers used to cover up a lot and we keep on making excuses. It's good for you to also just admit sometimes your helplessness, not even in a way of maybe telling them, yeah, this is a bastard and everything, but there's how you can share truth in a friendly way in terms of, I'm sorry that he's probably not available for you right now, but I'm thinking this and this and this is what we can do to work it out. But I usually say God always has so many other fathers, because fatherhood is a community as well. Like for example, when we were younger, the reason we never felt these gaps, it's because fathers used to father everyone. You could go to any house and you'll find a father. You go to any house, you'll find a mother. These gaps were not very visible when we were growing up as children. But nowadays, the gaps are very wide because we are also living as isolated entities. And so it takes a lot of intentionality. Like one of the things that we also try to do, for example, like in my context, is how can James show up as a father to the children who are around us? Like, for example, in our family. So, like in our plot, all the children here call Jemo dad, 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 mpaka kwa barabara, because they have their dads who are not present. But then when they come here, he plays with them. He anawarusha hivyo juu, like doing whatever he does for the other kids. In a way, he's able to parent them collectively. So there were like two other girls here. They are young, probably below 5. And whatever he does, even for the others, for example, if he buys things, he will also buy for them, especially when they're coming here. And that still helps. For example, when you're going out, if their moms are fine, sometimes we go out with them. And so that finding such communities for us will be one of the positive ways that you can try to reinforce for your child. You have brothers, you have cousins that are positive dads. Sometimes even just have them go there for weekends. And of course, also go and hang out more in such environments so that they get to experience a positive dad. That can really help children to navigate through that
Wow.
that step.
Wow. So
Yeah.
so someone needs to be proactive to get positive models
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
for
It
the
takes a
kids,
lot of
huh?
work, and even requesting intentionally, even in school, like some of the
Yeah.
teachers, you can keep on listening to your child. Put your ear on the ground. Who do they keep on praising in terms of a positive model? Just tell them to speak more life to them. You're like, yeah, but they have realized, like Yaniv likes you. Can you speak more life to him? Can you probably keep on encouraging him and reassuring him even in school? Like God always places fathers strategically all over. Just leverage on them. Yeah, as you wait for
Wow.
God to work on this one that is in your house. Yeah.
Wow. There's another question. How
Mm-hmm.
does this work for teenage boys and emotion balance?
Hmm.
And are there signs that your teen boys is having any trauma? I'm not sure I understand the first part of the question, but
Mm-hmm.
are there signs that your teen boy is having any trauma?
Of course, behavioral changes will definitely sell it out. When you start feeling like there's also an emotional gap between the two of you, in a way you don't communicate, you don't know what's happening in their world. And of course, sometimes you have concerns. And one of the things I usually say, it takes a lot of humility for you to admit that you can't meet all your children's needs. Hata mwenye
Mhm.
asumbui, keep on putting your children out here for mentorship and coaching. Like personally, I'm a coach. I journey with children, but I also get other people to journey with my children because I'm not a
Mm.
perfect mother. Despite whatever I use on them, probably I'm also doing other things that are undoing the good things I keep on saying people should do for children. Takes a lot of humility for you to admit. Hata kama mtoto asumbui, get your child therapies, not even therapy, get them into mentorship and coaching programs. Ukiona kuna ka event mahali, send your child there. In the multitude of counsel, your child will get direction, they will get wisdom, because that is how God works. Like even for us, like that week of VBS, our children will have gone here because we live on Thika Road, but we decided to take them to Buruburu because there was a program for teens in a certain church that is there. We wanted our nephew to attend. And so they went and stayed with my mom, and they will go from there, all of them. It was more expensive for us. Like we had to really spend a lot more on transport, on everything, on their upkeep there. But then it's because we are intentional about investing in them. And we were like, those people will speak a different truth, like probably that program, it
Mhm.
was a teen fest, that I
Mhm.
don't probably. There's a place they will reach in our son, who is the one who is in Kiambu High, in a place that I'm not able to reach. And the following week, when they came here, we had virtual coaching sessions. They still attended, but they missed 1 week of my coaching because I wanted them to go and get coached by someone else. Keep on
Wow.
exposing your children to truth, whether it's church, pay for them all those programs. When there is virtual programs, even you can add them to it, and even you join into listening, so that they're also not being radicalized into wrong things. But keep on
Mhm.
exposing your children to support and start early. I usually say for boys, especially if you're a mom solo parenting, start getting them into coaching when they are still talking and you still have a relationship where they are communicating, they are open. Usianza kumpeleka na crisis ile amefikisha 15, sijui ameenda form 1. Start early when they are a preteen. invest in coaching, then let them process all the dramas they are dealing with before they come to teenagehood. And then by then, even if they don't give you access, you are sure they're in a good space, you know? Yeah, so that is my wisdom on both questions in terms of getting them help, and of course
Yes, and
also
how
how
you
you
can
know how you
identify.
know they're struggling. Don't even wait for them to struggle, just get them support in advance. And hata kama mko nyinyi wawili na mko healthy parents and everything, sometimes we don't know that, we don't have it together. So just give yourself a benefit of that and get your children coaching, and just make it as an investment. The way you take them to those clubs to learn how to play, Wadideglaf to tennis and everything, invest in the
Mm,
same way.
mm.
You develop a whole child, because you don't know what they will find ahead, and they will definitely need that support. Yeah.
Now, I hope people can see now why I love Coach Paps and why I had to bring her
I
here
love you too, Ruth. I
tonight.
love you too. And I'm
This
so glad that I
girl
could.
is,
Yeah.
she's good. Now,
Thank you so
someone
much
is
for
here is
having me.
asking, Paps, can I be your friend?
Definitely, yes. Bestie mode activated. Yeah, hit me up. Look for me online. I'm all over.
Yeah, under what names are they going to find you online?
I think just Paps on Yugi. You can see the tagline that is there, Paps on Yugi. Of course,
Paps
we also
Wanyugi.
have a lot of coaching programs. If you want to see the programs I do, of course, women are my main clients, and now the preteens and teens. You just go to Reconfidence with Paps. I'll put my website
Someone
name
is
here.
asking you put your social media handles there.
Reconfidence with Paps.com. So I hope you can see it. If I type it here, will it go all over?
Yes.
And then my number is 07. If you want to chat me up, 0720 Yeah, that's simple.
All right. All right.
Yeah, so you can get me there, and then you'll get to everything else from there. But you can check out what I do and probably the program I run. There are a few videos I've also uploaded on my website. You can go and watch them to just experience some of the sessions we've done online. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Now we have like another 6 minutes to go, Coach Paps. And now someone is asking, kindly repeat the four strongholds. Are you able to summarize like super fast?
Mm. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just put them on screen so that you can
Yes.
see them quickly. I love talking, so I might end up over talking. Just look at them here. Maybe you can see the one you missed, but it's right mindset, right heart set, right health set, and soul set. These are the four things you need to work on consistently if your inner child is struggling. The
So
mindset, because you need to
mindset,
start
heart set.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
think differently. Heart set is
Mm-hmm.
heal. Health set is
Mm-hmm.
start working on your well-being, and then of course
Mm-hmm.
soul set is enjoying life and being present for the child. Yeah.
Wow. As I read Judy Wahinya is asking, I have trouble making friends. Could this be as a result of childhood trauma? How can I resolve this?
Of course,
Trouble
number
making
one is,
friends.
yeah, trouble making friends is fear of intimacy. You need to ask yourself what you're afraid of. Yeah, because there's usually that aspect. There's something I love having. Like I have it as an illustration in my mind of three circles that are Evo, Evo, Evo. The inner circle is usually the top three. You need to have three people who know everything that is happening in your life, at least two to five. I usually say three is fair. Hao ndio tunye unaweza kupigania. They can fight for you when we start trolling you online. Those are people who fully know you. When we start bad mouthing Ruth, those people will come guns blazing. You need to have people who fully know you and they fully love you.
I
And
like
then of
that.
course hapa kando kuna close friends in terms of just your circles, chama, sijui nini nini, sijui church, sijui uko group gani na group gani, sijui workplace, sijui mko kwa welfare nini nini, your colleagues, close friends. And most of the times close friends are the ones who graduate to become covenant friends. Hapo in a circle I usually call them covenant friends. Those are people
Mm,
who are your ride or die. Like I know for me there are three women who can take a bullet for me, and if I mess up they can also call me out. They're like, well, by the way, watch your fala. You can't be thinking like this. Those are people I can tell my fears. I'm like, yeah, by the way, I'm even thinking I'm not a good coach. They're like, well, by the way, wacha ufala. Like those are people who can call you out, they affirm you, they really believe in you and they champion you. And then of course huku nje nao ni kirende kenye kilishinda Musa. Huku nje. Everyone else, I usually call them acquaintances. And so many times we have given the acquaintances in our lives so much power, so much opinion
mm.
over us. They control us, but they don't even care about you. Like how many times do you go online and you try to really impress people that don't know you, they don't care about you, but then you don't have this inner circle of people who can die for
Yes.
you and people who really know
Yes.
you, and also the close friends in terms of people who can potentially in future become covenant friends. And sometimes covenant friends can also become kerende after a while. They can
Yeah.
come and see the burning bush and they realize they don't even like you, and it's fine.
Mm.
Keep
Yeah.
on trusting new people. There are always people that will journey with you, and there are people who love you for who you are. Never miss a chance to experience those ones.
I
Yeah,
love that. I
yeah.
love it. I normally say there are people who love me just because.
I know. If
There's
today you
no
stop
reason.
everything you do, if you are jobless, if today I stopped coaching and I'm just a nobody, they will still love you.
Yeah.
And you need
Yeah.
to get to those people, and they are always somewhere.
And I always say they even when I'm wrong, if I need defending, they will go blazing guns for me. Then in the background, they'll come and give me a
Fight
whip.
na wakuja wakunyoroshe huko nyuma, lakini
Waninyorosha
wamekupigania.
huko nyuma, lakini hapa mbele
Ni
hawawezi.
freedom fighters. Lakini
Yes,
offline,
yes.
yeah, they also
Like,
pressure you. Like I have a friend who is, I knew her when I was 7 years old.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that person can tell you anything. They will call you out. They will tell it in your face. They don't even think you're a coach. They really respect you and they love what you do. But at the same time, they also call out bullshit on you.
Mm-hmm,
And that is
mm-hmm.
a good friend. That is a good friend. Now, those are the people that I really meet frequently to just confide and check in terms of this is how I'm doing, this is where I'm struggling.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Now let's do the last question. I'm in my 30s, but I have a problem connecting and maintaining friendship. I become quiet till friendship dies. The only
Mm.
friendship I have is and I have maintained is my marriage relationship. Is that trauma amani?
Mm.
So no friends, only the
Yeah.
marriage, only the partner.
Yeah. For me, there are some needs that your husband cannot meet for you, especially as a woman. Sometimes you just need moshene, someone who would, laugh with you loudly without caring. For me, I usually say, honestly, James is still my
We laugh
best
our
friend.
heads off. Toka
He
tunaenda
really,
chini ya
yeah,
meza.
he really, really loves me. And my husband is just that man who will also take a bullet for me. But I also feel like I need other friends who meet other different needs for me. Yeah, because those relationships have different dynamics. That is why I said in your top, you need to have three. So your husband can be one of them, but he can't be the only one. Otherwise, you will build a house that is tilted. I usually say the
The
cornerstone,
only
when
one.
it's in the wrong place,
Okay.
then the whole house will tilt. It's like you have a warped perspective of yourself and of your life because only one person has an opinion on where you should style up and where you should work on yourself. What if they are biased? So it's always important to have more people, invite more people into that space. And
Yeah.
honestly, this thing of having your husband as your only best friend, I think it was overrated in the previous years. But as millennial wives, yeah, we just like by they get more friends, it's fine. It is
We know,
fine. And it's not
we
because
know
your marriage
better.
can be strong, but it's because you also stop over relying on your marriage for your self worth. You need to have a self worth and other identities and
Mm.
other significances that have nothing to do with just your marriage space. So please build more healthy relationships,
Wow.
bring in more people so that they can give you an aligned perspective of different ways that other people experience you. Like there's someone who said if you go for holiday with your girlfriends, you will live longer. When you go with your husband, sijui usiku umependuliwa, alafu sijui ndio unajua kwenye socks ziko, but your girlfriends, everybody is minding their own business. So it's important to also have those functional spaces of people who just love you just because you know and it's not
Just
because you are
because.
associated to
Yeah.
them or relate to them in any way. It's just because they appreciate you, they
Mm.
just see you as an amazing woman. So don't deny yourself that
Wow.
blessing. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. It's sad that this has to come to an end. There is so much I
Yeah.
have learned. I'm seeing people asking questions. So, Coach Paps, just kindly share your social media handles and your contact, even as we come to an end and you pray. Those who are concerned about friendships, maintaining friendships, making friendships, tomorrow we have another amazing lady. Her name is Caroline Waitera. She'll be coming here to talk about attachment styles. So I think it's important that you also show up tomorrow, tune in tomorrow, and see what you can learn about your attachment style and how it affects how you show up, how you make relationships, how you maintain friendships, and such other stuff. So it was a pleasure, a pleasure, a pleasure. If you came in late and you want to know what has been happening, same link, the same link that you have used to join us tonight, just go and click on the same link. This video is live on YouTube, so you will get everything that we have done from the beginning. Thank you for all showing up. Thank you for appreciating. You are saying great stuff, great stuff. This is what we are going to do in this space this year. Expect more of these kinds of conversations even as we move on. So So those who want to get in touch with Coach Paps, she's sharing her social media handles and her contacts. Please get in touch with her if you want her books, purchase them. If you want to join her programs, she's amazing. She's just an amazing lady. So get in touch with her and see what she has that you can get. So we come to the end of our session tonight, but before we do, Coach Paps wants to say a prayer. So Paps.
Just remembering this Psalm, I'm not sure whether it's 103 or 107 that says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. He who also heals your souls and restores you." And Lord, we know that even as we think about our inner child, there are so many things that logic cannot heal. And sometimes even no amount of therapy can restore apart from your power. And Lord, we just want to submit our inner children to you. We want to submit our past to you. You're the only one who can redeem our past and cause everything to make sense. You're the one who can help us to get unstuck where we are stuck in the present. And therefore, Lord, we invite you tonight. We invite you tonight to journey with us. Journey with us even as we walk through this space with our inner child holding the adult hand and also the adult holding the inner child. Father, we'll pray that you may give us courage to even face ourselves, even through this week as we are having these webinars and even as the program that Ruth will be running later. Give us the courage, Lord, even to invest and to prioritize, to just know that our healing is pricey, but you came that you may have life and have it in abundance. Father, Lord, we pray that you may also continue to just show yourself strong on our behalf, that even in sometimes our woundedness and sometimes our struggles, that you still show your grace through us. Help us not to ignore that grace that you show through us. Help us to come out of hiding behind many things and many people and to just allow ourselves, Lord, to experience your life in abundance. We thank you, Lord, and we just pray that you may continue these conversations, keep on reminding us things that we need to remember, and also keep on convicting us about the places where we need transformation, because you are where our help comes from. For it is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Coach Paps. Thank you, amazing, amazing ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for showing up for tonight's session. I appreciate you so much. I have amazing, amazing things in store. So don't just show up today, show up today, show up tomorrow, and tomorrow come with a friend so that you're not getting these goodies all alone. And at this juncture, I want to say good night. Please remember that Coach Paps has told us to stop looking at the door because nobody is coming to our rescue. You are your own rescue. You're a big girl. Wear your big girl's pants and show up for yourself. So I want to wish you a good night, an amazing evening, and I shall see you again tomorrow right here as we look at attachment styles with Caroline Waithera. So enjoy yourselves. Have a blessed night. Thank you, thank you, thank you.